they are sort of going about looking at the economy, governance, etc., then here is a story, viewers, that should interest you. Former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal made a major announcement today, promising a monthly salary of 18,000 per month, as I said, for the priests of temples and granthis of gurdwaras if the AAP comes back to power in the upcoming election. Just a few days ago, viewers, and I'll bring it up on your screens, another promise was made to pay out 2,100 rupees per month to every woman in the state of Delhi, depending on a particular income criteria. Now that was a big one, viewers, which is going to cost the exchequer quite a bit of money. And the reason for this bursary really to granthis and priests is because Mr. Kejriwal says priests and granthis have been the custodians of our religious customs, serving society selflessly. Unfortunately, no one has ever taken care of their financial well-being. That's what he said. And of course, viewers, all of this comes on the back of a big auto rickshaws, drivers, welfare package, insurance, financial aid, wedding support from uniform allowance and free coaching for drivers, the Sanjeevani Yojana, which will make free treatment for all citizens, irrespective of their economic background, above 60 years at Delhi hospitals, completely free. Free power, 3,250 crore earmarked for subsidy of up to 200 units. You know that in Delhi, SOPs are being given out like there's no tomorrow. Kejriwal stated that registration for the scheme will begin tomorrow, which is the latest one that he's announced, and he will personally initiate the process at the Hanuman temple. I request the BJP not to create hurdles in the registration process. Blocking this will be akin to committing a sin, as they are our bridge to God. But no sooner had he made the announcement that a group of Imams began to complain loudly. Imams have come out and said, we haven't been paid our salaries for 17 months. Forget about you making new promises. Delhi government is responsible for paying Imams monthly salary, and they are saying that we haven't been paid our monthly dues for 17 months. Around 250 Imams troubled due to this delay. Kejriwal clearly doesn't think they are a bridge to God, obviously. No representation of Imams due to the absence of Delhi Waqf CEOs, so they don't even have a voice, but they're now out protesting. The alleged non-payment of salaries is not surprising. Despite its recent history of fiscal surpluses, Delhi is on the brink of a potentially severe financial crisis. The financial summary of the government of the national capital of Delhi indicates a continuous streak of fiscal surplus from the fiscal year 2017-18 through the projected budget of 24-25. But Delhi's earnings are projected to drop from the budgetary estimate of 64,000 to about 62,000 by the end of FY25, that is by the end of next year, March. Initially, budget estimates show a surplus of rupees 3,231.19 crores, 3,231 crores for the possible inclusion of additional demand could lead to a deficit of 1,495 crores, viewers. And there's a whole list of other expenses, and that graphic will continue to update itself, refresh itself, viewers, and you can acquaint yourself with other expenditures that are on the cards. And fundamentally, viewers, the courts have stepped in and cautioned Kejriwal and the Delhi government, saying, you want a freebie culture, they are only spending it on freebies. Freebies will not make your infrastructure, they will not only ensure that you remain where you are. Today, the only thing the political class is doing is selling slogans, and we are all buying it. Delhi High Court said this in a fairly stiff rap on the knuckles. So let's open this up, viewers. What exactly is happening here? And I want to bring in the spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party as well as Pradeep Bhandari. Pradeep Bhandari, look, first let me bring you in, there are surpluses, so what is there to be worrying about? And even if there are these sort of problems, Mr. Kejriwal has said that he's a magician and he will make the numbers happen. So why are you sweating it so much, Mr. Bhandari?
Rahul, it's about the intent. Mr. Kejriwal can promise moon, but let me tell you the reality. Point number one, Delhi for the first time in 31 years is in revenue deficit. Point number two, the reality is that Mr. Kejriwal till now for the last 3 years in Punjab has not deposited a single rupee of money in the account of the women that he promised. Point number two, the reality is that it's the Bharatiya Janata Party which has been always saying since the last 3 years that he needs to deposit the money and give salary to also the pujaris. But the issue is Mr. Kejriwal will not do. If Mr. Kejriwal's intent was proper, when he had had promised the salaries of the Maulanas and the Maulvis, which he has not deposited in the last 17 months, he would have announced it at that time. His priorities are clear. During the time of COVID, he built a 50 crore sheesh mahal through corruption money. At that time, the money was not a problem. Just near the election, knowing that he does not have to deposit from the exchequer, he is just doing an election gimmick. And my charge here is Mr. Kejriwal is very serious that on the 1st of January, he should deposit in the account of the pujaris the money. He knows he will not do it. This is where even in the case of the Mahila Samman Yojana, even in the case of Sanjeevani Yojana, he is using his party machinery. So my charge is not on what he has announced. My charge is on intent of Mr. Kejriwal that whatever he does, he never does. He never executes
Akshay
it on
Marathe,
the ground.
let me bring you in.
He can execute properly is a corruption with 50 crore corruption.
Okay, big allegations. Big allegations. Let's just park them aside for 30 seconds, Mr. Marathe. Let's focus on the issue at hand. You've been in power for a little more than 10 years now in Delhi. Were Granthis and priests not a bridge to God for 10 years? Why suddenly now? And why didn't you announce this scheme, as Mr. Bhandari says, when the Imams, you rolled out a scheme for Imams? Why was there this disparity? And why haven't the Imams been paid for 17 months? Can we even afford these new schemes? Look at what the High Court has said. It's a timely warning and it's on your screen, sir. So explain to me, are we in a situation today, sir? And this is a question that one needs to ask. Is the Aam Aadmi Party cashing in on the Aam Aadmi's taxes? Is that what's happening here?
Namaste, Rahul ji. First of all, I want to start off by saying that Delhi's finances are a model that need to be understood by everybody who's watching this show. Arvind Kejriwal is an IIT educated engineer, former IRS officer. And when he says, I'm a magician, he's a magician of accounts and taxation. Because despite the last 10 years of the welfare model that Delhi has given, where we are giving free electricity, free water, free and high quality education and healthcare, how is it that Delhi's budget has not gone into a deficit? It's because Arvind Kejriwal understands budgets. He understands how revenues are to be collected and where the tax gaps have to be closed. So you have a Delhi government, which is the only government in India that does not have a deficit. It is a government that has the lowest amount of debt to GDP ratio. We have 3.4% in Delhi. In Gujarat, it is 20%. In Madhya Pradesh, it is 35%. So the states that the BJP runs are run to the ground because of their mismanagement and corruption. And the states that the Aam Aadmi Party is running, especially Delhi, is doing phenomenally well. Our state GDP is the highest growth rate.
The little bit of the state that you run, Mr. Marathe. You don't run the whole state. You run a little bit of the state, isn't it?
This is the reality.
Mr. Marathe, it's a good point. Let me bring you back on this. Since you're making this point, let me ask you then, why haven't the Imams been paid? In the past,
seconds.
1 second, in the past, sweepers weren't paid. Before that, there was a time when there was a logjam over salaries to councillors. You know that it's been an ongoing issue. And why is the High Court flagging? Why is the High Court flagging what it claims is a precarious monetary situation, sir, fiscal situation?
No, I think, Rahul, I don't think the High Court was talking about Delhi situation. They were commenting on the whole country. And yes, other states do have a problem, but Delhi does not have this problem.
No.
But let me finish.
Okay, let him finish. Let him finish, Mr. Bhandari. Just let him 10 seconds. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Unfortunately, Delhi has some portions of the government that are run by the BJP. For example, Delhi's law and order is run by the BJP.
No, I know, but you're not talking about all of that. Let's get to the finances.
But I want to just point out how Delhi has a dual control, and the things that are run by the BJP are actually the ones that are a problem. If you think about this.
But initial budget estimates, now these are not things that are made by Mr. Modi sitting in his little chamber. The initial budget does show a surplus of rupees 3,231, but the possible inclusion of additional demand could lead to a deficit of 1,400. That would be the first time in decades that Delhi would slip. You'd agree. These are not my numbers. These are the budget expectations. Anyhow, let me just bring in Mr. Bhandari. He wants to make a point.
These are estimates. These are estimates, and the financial year. The
financial year has not. Yes, I understand that. I know, but these are red flags that are being raised. So we have to be judicious. That's the underlying point. Yes, Mr. Bhandari, quickly. Yeah.
November 28, 2024, the Delhi High Court to Delhi government. You have no money. Why are you refusing PMJY aid? The quote by Delhi High Court on Delhi government is you have no money. For the first time in 31 years, the Delhi government is expected to go in revenue deficit. It is not normal fiscal deficit, it is revenue deficit, which means that in order to pay for a day-to-day spending, they will not have money. This has not happened in a state like Delhi, which generally has a higher base of tax collection and tax revenues. For the first time in 31 years, the Delhi government will be going in revenue deficit.
Well,
that is the reality. Let me quote Delhi High Court further. Delhi High Court on 26 November 2024 goes further and says that you are only and only spending on freebies. You have no money for infrastructure. Your finances are precarious.
You want a freebie culture.
What are you doing?
They went on to say you want a freebie culture.
Development?
Viewers, look, whether it is Delhi, and I don't want to pass any value judgments, this is a sensitive time for the AAP and the BJP. They're in the midst of an election campaign. So, by my taking a position, it would influence voters' minds. So, I'm just trying to come back to the larger question that we were raising with Rajiv Kumar ji and Dr. Subramaniam just before this, saying that, look, we need to be very careful about what we are promising to whom and why. And is it going to actually lead? One second, Mr. I'm just wrapping out. We've heard both sides, so I don't want to get into a tutu meme. You'd appreciate it's just the end of the year and we want to start off the new year on a very nice note. So I do beg your indulgence.
Wishing you a very happy new
Thank
year,
you.
Rahul,
Thank
and
you
your
all.
viewers.
Thank you all. Very quickly, viewers, just very quickly, I just want to say that one needs to, in fact, if anything, funnel productive expenditure, not expenditure on things that give people something in their pocket money. I leave it at this, viewers. Think about it.